Hey guys, and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be answering 3 questions taken from my community post, which you guys can participate in. If you guys like this video, I'll answer more questions in the future, but basically my idea was that I would look at the top 3 questions and answer them. So make sure to like and subscribe, which I have decided that I obviously will keep adding randomly throughout my videos, as I either remember or don't remember, or remember in the middle of the video. We don't know. You'll never know when I ask you to like and subscribe, because I don't even know when I'm going to ask you to like and subscribe. You guys can't be on to me because I'm not even on to me. So without further ado, the top 3 questions are: would you like the old items to come back? That's number 1 by Can CDM. The number 2 is by Paranoid Hugs. What are some mechanics you would like to see in upcoming seasons? For example, the dragon rework, the alcove, various jungle changes, new items, everything. Okay. Blah, blah. And number 3 by Biggie Wiggums is what are some concepts or playstyles you like to see in new champions that you'd find fun or to be good additions to the game for gameplay reasons or otherwise? So the first one is would you like old items to come back? This is my thinking phase. No. And actually, there's very good reason for that. And once again, I don't want to just relate everything to me. So let's use me and 80 carries at the same time. So would I like old items to come back? No. No, because they were far boringer. Old items had a tendency to just be stats. They're just stats. Like if you compare, like look at the old items. Like what would you do? Like Phantom Dancer and Infinity Edge, or those are like they're just stats, right? Like if you look at modern items, at the very least, some mythics do a lot more, right? And you can say, well, the mythics are the only interesting ones. But the thing is that some of the classes that had too many interesting items had them toned back. And for interesting, when I'm saying interesting, what I mean is an item that you actually change and like use, and it changes your playstyle. And the supports had their interesting items toned down a lot. And for, let's say, bruisers, I mean, what were the interesting items on bruisers? Basically nothing, right? I mean, they were just stats. For AD carries, same thing, basically just stats, right? AP bruisers still are pretty dumb, but I mean, they were particularly dumb. What did you do? Rylai's and Leandries? I mean, you literally just ran at people and slowed them, which applied a dot, and boring. Now you've got Gore Drinker, you've got Shield Bow, which I guess isn't inactive, but I mean, it still changes what you do, right? And you've got Gale Force, and just throughout those 3 items, not even including things like Stride Breaker, right? You've got different things that you do. So would I like old items to come back? Compare Gore Drinker to Black Cleaver, which is the more interesting first purchase, right? Gore Drinker any day of the week. So would I like old items to come back? I'm not much of a reminiscer, okay? I don't sit here and just think about the past and enjoy the past. No matter what you think about me, and a lot of people think I do that, I don't actually do that. So I look at the new system and I look at the old system and I go, yeah, new system's probably more fun. What are some mechanics you would like to see in upcoming seasons? For example, the dragon rework, the alcoves, various jungle changes, new items, new everything. So the thing with this question is none of these things I would have wanted if they weren't added. For example, the dragon rework, they all got nerfed into the ground until they practically did nothing. So the dragon rework didn't do much. Are you talking about the dragon soul? Even that changed before they launched it, and it kind of became a less interesting system. I'm not going to go into why. The alcoves, they don't really contribute that much, and to be honest, if they were removed, I don't think many people would notice. The various jungle changes, all the jungle changes just are tiny little things, really. They just, like, look at this latest one. They change like itty bitty details. They never really, get in there and really hammer out some real changes. They just do tiny little changes all the time that just annoy the shit out of junglers without actually doing anything, right? Like, and so at the end of the day, I feel like, yeah, junglers are right in that they change jungle every 5 patches, but on the other hand, they never actually do anything. I swear, if you actually play jungle, you'd know that they don't do anything to the outside perspective, to people who aren't me actually reading into these patches, right? Once you actually read into the patches, like the last patch, if you read through all the notes, you'd be like, this isn't really doing anything. The new items, I actually like the new items. So those are pretty cool, right? Once again, it's like, what's more interesting, Black Cleaver or Gore Drinker? Black Cleaver is in literally play the same and do nothing differently, and you just run up and bam, bam, bam. Or Gore Drinker, where you got this cool active, and you're like, whoosh, gore drinking gore. Yeah. New items, new everything. So to answer this question, what were some mechanics I'd like to see? I don't know, because they all just kind of swing out of left field for me. Like, we didn't really need an alcove. But if you ask me, the biggest thing I'd like to see in new seasons is some actual honest work on some of these champions that have been extraordinarily problematic. Akali, Yone, Silas, right? I mean, these champions who keep going to the top tiers, and Yone, God, I hate Yone, but at the very least, you know, Akali, we've basically sandbagged Akali for now, right? Because we don't like seeing her permanently being top tier. But is that really the solution? No, the solution is to go into this champion and do the actual work and remove a bunch of these mechanics. You know, for you guys, you might like seeing on the front page of Reddit that Akali was using her E and Yone ulted, and then Akali used her ult to cancel and, you know, change her direction. But, you know, that looks good on the front page of Reddit. That looks good to show, but imagine playing against that, right? What could Yone have done? His options were, you know, if Akali is flying at him with her E, right? Old Yone can do is ult and try to knock her out of it, and so Akali responds by using her ult to change and redirect herself. But while that looks great on the front page of Reddit, think about playing as a Yone. Your options are die or ult so that you can live, but now you're gonna die anyway. That's not really fun or interesting for the Yone, because he's basically playing and hoping that Akali doesn't play correctly. He's basically going, okay, guys, I'm going to make this play. I'm going to die if I don't make it, and I'll die anyway if I make it and she plays correctly. But what if she doesn't? Then I could live. And that's not really great gameplay. What are some, this is a third question, so I'm skipping through this. What are some mechanics I'd like to see? I don't know. Man, like, I don't know what Riot's going to add, so I don't know. For myself, I don't know what I would add. What are some concepts or playstyles you'd like to see in new champions you'd find fun or be good additions to the game? What are some concepts or playstyles? One thing I enjoy, and one thing that I think Riot has been pushing well and doing well lately, is differentiating melee characters by making a lot of them more mid-range and kind of combo oriented. To understand what I mean, if you go back 8 years, basically every melee champion, in fact, I think every one of them, unless I'm forgetting someone, their entire playstyle was run up and beat the crap out of each other, right? Just run up and auto attack the crap out of each other. Well, fast forward 8 years and look at now. You've got Ilawi, who's got more of a mid-range playstyle. Aatrox has got more of a mid-range playstyle. Even Darius has his pull into his Qs and, you know, that sort of stuff. Yorick has, you know, set up walls, his ghouls into the wall, you know, stuff like that. And so that's actually one thing that Riot has done well. If you were going to look back and kind of do like it introspectively, and a lot of people don't do that, they don't look back at what's been added into the game and what's changed. They just look, you know, in the last year. But when you look at it in the last 8 years, yeah, those sorts of things have happened. I mean, let's look at champions who are 8 years old, right? Champions who, well, not even 8, 10 years old, right? Jax, Garen, Xin Zhao, you know, let's use those three as extraordinarily old kits that haven't changed that much. I know Xin has changed, I know Garen has changed, but fundamentally they're still doing the same thing. They're running up to each other and they're beating the crap out of each other in melee. Who wins or loses in those fights is basically who got the bigger dick, right? Who got the bigger dick is who's going to win that fight. If we look at Scion versus Ilawi versus Aatrox versus Yorick. You know, those kids have a lot more going on. They're doing a lot more things, and it feels like a more like a cooler fight, if you will, like cooler. But definitely, it's not just running in the main lane, beating the crap out of each other. Yeah, I guess to answer that question, what are some concepts or playstyles you'd like to see in new champions? I'd like to see that continued. To be honest with you, Gwen, despite her W being somewhat interesting, her ult at the end of the day basically reads, do a lot of damage when you're doing damage. And the more I play it and the more I play against it, I kind of feel like Set is actually more interesting to fight than Gwen. So I would definitely like to see Riot not go into continuing to make champions like Gwen, who don't really do interesting things. That's my video. Just figured I'd answer 3 questions. See if you guys liked it. You know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. But there you go. I hope you guys did like it. I'll try to do more of these. Maybe I'll put up a community post tomorrow and we'll answer 3 more, or maybe I'll make a different video. But thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all for being here, for liking the stream, for subscribing, for, you know, just being here. It's great. I appreciate you all. Thank you, everybody. And I will see you on my next video, which should hopefully be soon, because I'm trying to do a lot more. So thank you, everybody, for watching. And now I have to go edit it. So goodbye.